I know how this sounds. I really do. But before you judge me, just hear me out. I'm not insane. I'm just devoted. Sydney Sweetie isn't just some actress to me. She's a living myth, the last real star in a sea of filters and AI-generated fame. Her smile feels like warmth after frostbite. Her voice lingers in your head hours after an interview ends. She's flawless, but not plastic. She's there, raw and real, just far enough out of reach to keep you dreaming. I never missed a post, a new role, a red carpet look, an interview where she'd push hair behind her ear. I memorized it all. She was my ideal, my muse, my impossible maybe. She made me feel wild. So when I saw the announcement that Sydney had partnered with Dr. Squeech to release a limited edition soap, Bathwater Blizz, made with her actual bathwater, I thought it was a joke, a marketing stunt. But it wasn't. Only 5,000 bars made, limited to one per customer, launching June 6th at 10 a.m. sharp. I prepared like I was buying tickets to heaven. 3 alarms, 2 browsers open, a full cup of coffee and my credit card memorized. It sold out in under 60 seconds. I stared at the screen, disbelief morphing into panic. I'd missed my only chance. No way. I refreshed eBay like a gambler with a hot hand. 10 minutes later, boom, one real listing. Factory sealed, verified, $300. I waited 3 days. Every hour crawled. When it arrived, the box was a soft, aquatic blue, clean and minimalist. Bathwater Blizz, limited edition, was printed in crisp white, centered beneath a silver water droplet that seemed to shimmer faintly, like it was watching me. The moment I cracked it open, the scent hit me like a dream colliding with reality. Floral, but not fake. Creamy, but not sugary. Something clean, something salty, something alive. The bar was smooth, glossy, almost too perfect to touch. I ran my fingers across it like it might sing. Then I leaned in, slowly, and breathed it in. The world stopped. I saw her. Not in the room, not exactly. Maybe in my head, clear as glass. Sydney, damp hair clinging to her cheeks, water trickling down her face, eyes soft and searching. She didn't smile. She didn't move. She just looked at me. Then she was gone. Just a flash, like sunlight in your eyes. I stumbled back a step, blinking hard. My hand still gripped the soap like a relic. My pulse thumped through my fingertips. She was real. That moment was real. I had to try it. I drew a bath, water hot enough to fog the mirror. I didn't like candles or play music. I wanted silence. I wanted her. The soap lathered with ease, thick and pearlescent, like it melted into me. The scent swelled in the heat, enveloping everything. It was like she was there. Not as a ghost, as a presence, something intelligent, watching. I sat still. My mind drifted. The foam wrapped my arms, clung to my chest, ran between my fingers like silk, and with every pass of the soap, the scent grew deeper, denser. My thoughts unraveled. I wasn't alone. A pressure formed just behind me, gentle but real, like someone brushing past in a crowd. I froze. The water rippled. Breath touched the nape of my neck.
You've wanted this.
Someone whispered. I couldn't speak. My mind was buzzing and numb all at once. stayed there for a long time. When I finally stood up, my skin tingled. The scent clung to me like a second skin. I pressed the bar to my chest. I couldn't put it down. I didn't dry off. I didn't get dressed. I walked straight to bed, still damp, still holding it. Sleep took me instantly. I woke up in a fog. My sheets were damp. My hands still gripped the soap like I'd clutched it all night. Then came the itch. First on my forearm, then my ribs, my scalp, my thighs. I sat up, confused, scratching, looked down. My skin was covered in small red bumps, raised and inflamed. I stumbled into the bathroom, turned on the light. The bumps moved. I leaned closer. My stomach flipped. On the surface of one, just one, I saw a tiny, perfectly formed face. Delicate cheekbones, full lips, wide eyes, her face. I yelped and staggered back, nearly falling into the tub. But curiosity pulled me forward again. More bumps, more faces. They stared at me, silent. Some smiled, some frowned, some just watched. My heart pounded like a drum. I turned on the faucet and shoved the soap under it, lathering until my skin went raw. But the bumps didn't fade. They pulsed. They multiplied. I rubbed harder. My arms bled. Still they smiled. Then the lights flickered. The mirror fogged without heat. No steam, just cold breath on glass. And she was there. Sydney. Not a vision, not a reflection, something else. She sat in a dark tub, green water rising to her collarbone. Her skin was smooth and wet, but her eyes were wrong. Too wide, too empty. She opened her mouth.
You wanted a part of me. Now I'm taking what's mine.
I blinked. She was closer. The soap slipped from my hand. I couldn't move. Fingertips pressed against my spine. A voice purred into my ear.
Let me clean you. Let me purify you.
I didn't resist. I couldn't. Her hands dragged the soap across my arms, my chest, my face. Her voice lilted with venom.
You bought me like a product, a souvenir. You wore my scent like a second skin. How does it feel? Using a woman's bathwater?
Her voice was soft, but it slithered down my spine like ice.
Do you feel powerful now?
She pressed her fingers into my sores. They burst like blisters, oozing heat and sound, whispers. I heard her memories. Casting calls, harsh lights, men's voices, clinical and cruel.
Smile wider.
Lose 5 pounds.
Don't talk unless you're asked.
And always, you're perfect, you're perfect, you're perfect.
Men like you.
She leaned close, her voice turning bitter, acidic.
You're all the same. Greedy little pigs pretending it's love.
Sydney's nails scraped down my back. My skin peeled like tissue.
You bought a piece of me, and now I own you. You disgusting little thing. Let me scrub you.
I woke up alone, soaked, trembling. The soap was gone, the water drained. My skin, smooth, clean, as if nothing had happened. But the mirror told the truth. I wasn't there, only her, sitting in the tub, smiling, mouthing the word.
Next one.
This is the third suicide in just 2 weeks. The whole town feels really heavy and scared right now. I'm Thomas, the psychologist sent to assist with the investigation. Please accept my sincere condolences.
My son was fine, I swear it. That stupid game is to blame.
Thomas, the victim was playing Shin Sonic right before they died. No drugs were discovered at the scene.
I want to sue the game company.
Please try to calm down, ma'am. We will definitely investigate thoroughly and give you and the families of the other victims a satisfactory answer.
None of the victims had a history of depression, and they weren't connected in any way. The only thing they had in common was this Sonic game.
I don't believe in stuff like curses. I've done some preliminary research on this game, and look at this. The purple and yellow color palette keeps players feeling trapped, and the sound effects that go above 85 Hz increase feelings of anxiety and fear. This game is using imagery and sound that's way too intense for a horror game.
Yeah, especially that VHS tape. The scream is so real, it's creepy. Can you help me put together a more detailed report?
Sure, I'll download the game and give it a try. I went home and started downloading the game. Creating an account was easy. I started playing at 10 p.m. I tried to finish the game as fast as possible. I was determined to uncover the mystery behind it. But things weren't as simple as I thought. Once I started playing, the game kept pushing me to complete tasks at all hours of the day. I haven't been able to sleep properly for 2 days, and tonight was no exception. It's 3:02 a.m., and because I was 2 minutes late for a task, the game gave me a jump scare as punishment. That creepy VHS clip woke me right up. It's a way to manipulate players into always being ready for the next task. The third night, I was so stressed and tired that I couldn't sleep. My subconscious was constantly reminding me of the game tasks. I knew it was a bad sign. And then, the game task appeared. As I waited for it to load, I quickly noted the time. The timing of these tasks is so weird. There's no pattern. It's like the game's sole purpose is to keep players awake and punish them for not following the rules. Suddenly, Sonic's terrifying scream came from my neighbor's house, followed by a weak cry for help. I ran over there right away. I burst into my neighbor's house, and the sight in front of me was horrifying. My neighbor, usually a healthy guy, looked like he was having a heart attack, and next to him was his phone, playing Sonic's scream. I rushed over, laid him down, and turned off the sound. The room was quiet, and I could feel my heart rate and my neighbors slowing down. I called an ambulance. While I was waiting, a thought hit me. My neighbor's cry and Sonic's scream kept echoing in my head, and they sounded strangely similar. Could Sonic's scream be a death sound, or was it a cry for help? A cry for help from Ethan. Just then, the paramedics arrived and took my neighbor away. I wasn't needed there anymore. Willis, I've found a crucial clue. Can you check if there's anyone named Ethan at Company X? Sure enough, my guess was right. After getting Ethan's file, Willis and I went straight to Company X.
Ethan lives alone in this town. He's a game programmer and lives at Company X. No one has seen him leave the company for 6 months.
Or maybe he couldn't leave. We finally arrived at Company X. Hopefully, we won't leave empty-handed.
I wonder what brings you here so suddenly, officer.
Nothing much. Just a report of a missing employee named Ethan. I thought I'd check it out.
The moment he heard the name Ethan, I saw a look of panic on the CEO's face. Suddenly, Willis's dog started barking loudly. It was barking at a life-sized animatronic. The barking was unusual. I had a feeling he'd found something.
I'm sorry, officer, but we don't allow pets inside.
Sorry, I'll take him outside. You don't seem surprised to find a body in that robot, Mr. CEO.
I don't know anything about it.
Mr. X, you're a suspect in Ethan's death. Come with us to the station.
At 8 a.m. this morning, the CEO of the famous game company known for the Shin Sonic game was arrested on charges of manslaughter and concealing a body. Ethan, an employee who was the main developer of the Sonic character, was forced to work 16 hours a day for 3 months straight. Eventually, he suffered a heart attack and collapsed at his desk. But the company's crimes don't end there. The company used Ethan's dying image and his desperate cries as the source material for the Sonic character to make the game more realistic. Ethan's body was hidden inside an animatronic displayed in the company's main lobby.
The toxic content, images and sounds in the game are a major factor contributing to the psychological decline of players and have been linked to recent mysterious suicides. I urge viewers to avoid watching, storing, or sharing these harmful videos in any form.
The scent of decay lingered in the air, a putrid mixture of rot and despair. Bodies lay sprawled along the dirt roads, their skin clinging to brittle bones, eyes hollow and unseeing. The wails of starving children echoed through the desolate village, their cries blending into the ceaseless wind. Hunger had transformed our world into a graveyard before death had even claimed us. My stomach clenched as I staggered into our home, the wooden walls barely holding together against the creeping cold. My father loomed over me, his face twisted in anger.
You useless girl!
He spat, his voice thick with resentment.
Your brother needs to eat. Get up and find something before he wastes away.
I flinched as his hand cracked against my cheek, sending me reeling. My brother, his golden child, curled under a thin blanket, too weak to lift his head. I swallowed my protest, knowing it would do nothing but earn me another blow. Instead, I obeyed, dragging myself beyond the dying village into the skeletal grasp of the forest. The trees stretched above me like twisted ribs, their barren branches whispering in the wind. I searched for anything. Roots, berries, even insects. But the earth had long since been stripped bare. My knees buckled beneath me and I collapsed against a moss-covered rock, my breath coming in ragged gasps. Then the scent came, sweet, earthy, irresistible. I turned my head and saw it, an unfamiliar plant nestled between gnarled roots, its leaves shimmering in the dim light. I reached out, plucking a handful and lifting them to my nose. The aroma wrapped around me like a comforting embrace, drowning out the gnawing emptiness in my stomach. Desperate, I placed a leaf on my tongue. Flavors exploded in my mouth. Warm bread, roasted meat, honeyed fruits. My vision blurred, my body sinking into blissful relief as the hunger dissolved. My last thought before darkness claimed me was that I had finally found salvation. When I awoke, the forest had shifted. The brittle cold had softened into something almost welcoming. I touched my stomach. No pain, no hunger. I felt alive. I gathered as much of the plant as I could carry and returned home, breathless with excitement. My father barely spared me a glance, but my brother, my frail, dying brother, parted his cracked lips when I pressed a small leaf to them. He chewed weakly at first, then more eagerly. His sunken cheeks flushed with colour, and before my eyes, he changed. That night we feasted. The hunger that had plagued us melted away, replaced by warmth, by laughter. For the first time in months, we dreamed of a future where we might survive. Morning came with screams. I opened my eyes to chaos. Villagers surrounding our home, their faces twisted in horror. My father stood at the doorway, pointing a trembling finger at me.
She's a demon!
He howled.
She devoured her own brother!
I turned in confusion, my gaze landing on the bed where my brother had lain. But he was no longer there. Instead, bones jutted from the mattress, gleaming white and clean, picked dry as if by unseen hands. My hands. No, I whispered, stumbling backward. No, I didn't. They didn't listen. They never listened. Torches flared, the flames reflecting in their wild eyes as they surged forward. I ran. My feet pounded against the dirt, the forest swallowing me whole as I plunged into its depths. The voices faded, but the betrayal lingered. I would never return. Never again. Days blurred into weeks, then months. The forest became my home, the only place that didn't seek to destroy me. I lived on the plant, my hunger forever sated, my body never growing weak. I was alone. Until her, a girl, thin as a reed, shivering beneath the trees, her clothes hung from her bony frame, her eyes sunken and dull. I recognized that look, the acceptance of death, but I would not let it claim her. I knelt beside her, pressing a leaf to her hands. "Eat," I whispered. She hesitated before taking the offering. Her lips parted, and as she chewed, her gaze locked onto mine. For the first time in ages, I felt warmth spread through me. A connection. A purpose. Sleep claimed us both. When I woke, the world had changed again. My humble forest shelter had vanished. In its place stood a house unlike any I had ever seen. Walls of gingerbread, windows of spun sugar, a roof dripping with caramel. The air was thick with the scent of confections, an overwhelming sweetness that made my head spin. I turned to the girl, but she was gone. All that remained were her clothes, crumpled in a heap near a dark stain on the ground. My breath caught in my throat. No, she must have left, must have found her way home. I told myself this lie over and over. I stayed, I rebuilt. I tended to the plants, waiting for another lost soul to wander in. Each time I welcomed them. Each time I offered them salvation. And each time, when I awoke, they were gone. The hunger never returned, but neither did they.
Ballerina cappuccina.
Tung 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 sahur. Tralalero tralala.
Ballerina cappuccina.
It was one of those days where the air itself felt heavy. Deadlines, coffee jitters, and that migraine that never really goes away. I was exhausted, mentally fried, when I looked up from my screen and nearly screamed. Sam, my co-worker, was standing there smiling. Or something that used to be Sam. Usually pristine and polished, today she looked like a puppet half alive. Her face was pale and waxy. Her eyes were swallowed in deep, dark rings, and her forehead swollen, as if something inside was pressing outward.
Hello, tralalero, tralala.
She chirped in a sing-song voice that didn't belong to her. I blinked, startled. What? She giggled, her expression twitching between joy and emptiness.
Oh, you're such a fossil. Haven't you seen the brain rot universe? It's trending on TikTok.
What's it about? I asked. She tilted his head.
It's just brain rot. It doesn't mean anything. That's why it's perfect.
And then she laughed, loud and broken, before walking away. I wish I could say that was the end of it. But it was only the beginning. The next day, more co-workers had the look. Sunken eyes, pale skin, puffy heads like overripe fruit. They wandered the office, muttering absurd phrases.
It's tung 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 sahur time.
Do you want to try ballerina cappuccina?
And every time they laughed together. Giggles like wind chimes in a hurricane. I didn't understand what was happening. I stopped getting Slack messages, emails, eye contact. No one spoke to me unless I repeated their nonsense. It was like they spoke a new language, and I was suddenly illiterate. Outside the office, it was worse. Random people on the street babbled the same phrases. Whole cafes filled with chuckling strangers, nodding at videos in silence. I felt like a relic, forgotten by time. And still, no one could tell me what brain rot actually was. I found out the hard way. On my way home from the supermarket, I saw a man standing under a flickering street lamp. He was laughing hysterically, phone in hand, eyes bloodshot. The air around him felt wrong. Then the screen of his phone glitched, and something crawled out. A creature, half smoke, half flesh, launched at his face. He screamed, tried to pull it off, but it clung like a parasite. I ran to help, but the thing was already latched onto his skull. He twisted, convulsed. The creature breathed, pulsing like it was drinking him, siphoning blood, thoughts, sanity. When it was done, he collapsed. And then he rose, grinning.
Liri lilarila, cappuccino assassino.
He said softly. I stumbled back, shaking. That was the moment I realized brain rot was real, not just a trend, a parasite spreading like a virus, using content as its doorway. After that night, I saw it everywhere. People collapsed at work. Some clawed at their heads, trying to peel the creature off as it wriggled under their scalp. I tried CPR on one guy, but the monster had already sucked out whatever made him human. It slipped out of him with a wet hiss and vanished, like smoke dissolving in sunlight. The doctor later said he'd suffered a stroke, that his brain had deteriorated from overuse, lack of sleep, screen exposure. His brain had literally rotted. Brain rot. I tried to defend myself. I deleted all my apps, locked my phone away, covered my windows, but it didn't matter. The brain rot videos no longer needed your permission. They played in waiting rooms, office lobbies, subway ads. Sometimes I could hear the audio before I even saw a screen echoing in the back of my skull. Even without looking, I could feel the presence. I fought them off for days. I saw the creatures, swatted them away when they tried to leap at me. But no matter how many I escaped, they just kept multiplying. They were evolving, feeding, and growing bigger. One day, I was surrounded, cornered in an alleyway behind the office, flanked by people I once knew, now brainwashed shells of themselves. Their eyes bulged, their skin sagged like wet cloth, but their mouths, smiling, endlessly smiling. They spoke in unison.
Do you want to try ballerina cappuccino? Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, saha time.
I covered my ears, shut my eyes. Didn't work. They grabbed me, held me down. I felt fingers pry my eyelids open. Someone shoved a phone inches from my face. The screen flickered. I screamed. Too late. It came. The creature tore through the screen like a riptide and latched onto my face. It was sticky and hot, like liquid panic, forcing itself through my skin, drilling into my skull. I writhed. They held me tighter. The audio looped. The images flashed. Bright, dumb colors and deformed faces dancing over meaningless music. It was torture. It was hollow. And then, something shifted. I stopped fighting. Suddenly it felt nice, light, funny. The sounds weren't meaningless anymore. They were funny. I smiled, I giggled. Do din 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 do. I felt the rocks settle into my brain like a warm bath. The pain vanished. Everything made sense now. Ballerina cappuccina, tralalero tralala. I looked up at the others, my new family, and we laughed together. And now I see you. You're still watching, aren't you? Go ahead, scroll down, just once more. Let brain rot in.
I was miles away from home on a prolonged business trip when unexpected complications trapped me in a remote suburban area for 2 additional nights. Exhausted and desperate, I found myself scrolling urgently through Airbnb listings late into the night. The screen blinked discouragingly at me. Every place fully booked except for one single room. The reviews glowed promisingly, rows upon rows of enthusiastic 5-star ratings. Yet, nestled amongst them was a solitary, troubling 1-star review with an ominous warning. Terrible place, reeks of death. My finger hesitated over the book now button for a brief moment. Doubt lingering, but fatigue overcame my instincts, and I clicked confirm. When I arrived at the Airbnb, the host greeted me with an oddly enthusiastic and friendly smile. From the outside, the room appeared tidy, and I eagerly anticipated a restful sleep after an exhausting day. But contrary to my expectations, the moment the door opened, an overpowering scent of cheap air freshener assaulted my senses, desperately trying to mask an underlying stench of decay quietly lurking beneath. My gaze fell upon the pillowcase, stained with faded brownish blotches that suggested improper cleaning. The window bore a thin, neglected film of dust, making the room seem even more suffocating. I asked the host to clean the room thoroughly, but she reminded me that I'd checked in urgently during the night, and now it was far too late to clean immediately, promising she'd take care of it in the morning. I sighed softly, reassuring myself, it's just one night. I can endure it. Sleep overtook me swiftly, but in the silent dead of night, I jolted awake, feeling sharp pricks crawling beneath my skin, itchy and relentless. Turning on the bedside lamp, I stared in confusion at tiny, crimson spots scattered across my wrists and ankles, some oozing faint drops of blood. Must be a dust allergy, I murmured groggily, too exhausted to consider otherwise. Pulling the covers tight around myself, I forced my mind into unconsciousness once more. Morning brought no relief, quite the opposite. My scalp burned intensely with an itching sensation unlike anything I had ever experienced. Reaching up, my fingers were soon entangled in loose clumps of hair, sticky with some unknown secretion. Even more disturbing, a throbbing pain behind my shoulder prompted me to twist around, discovering a swollen, inflamed lump just beneath my skin, tender and hot to the touch. Perhaps my body was reacting to the room's questionable cleanliness. Surely my scalp was itching from resting on that stained, grimy pillow. Deeply unsettled, I contacted the host immediately, insisting she clean the room thoroughly while I was out working. Returning in the evening, the space showed superficial signs of tidying, yet a nagging sense of unease lingered stubbornly within me. Driven by suspicion, I lifted the mattress, recoiling at fresh, sinister stains beneath. Frustrated, I immediately started looking for a safer place to spend this final night. Tomorrow was an extremely important meeting, and I couldn't afford to lose any more sleep. While scrolling feverishly, my eyes landed on a TikTok video review eerily featuring the exact Airbnb room I occupied. A surge of dread compelled me to message the reviewer immediately. "Were you also in room 203? The reply came swiftly and bluntly. "Yes, and I'm the one who left that 1-star review." Before I could type another question, their account abruptly vanished, deleted without warning, as though forcibly silenced. Although I still had some doubts lingering inside, it didn't matter much since I'd fortunately managed to book another room. Yet just as I finished packing my luggage and prepared to leave, the sky suddenly opened up in a torrential downpour. Trapped again, frustration turned to resignation. Determined to protect myself, I laid clean towels atop the mattress, dressed head to toe in protective clothing, and liberally sprayed disinfecting essential oils around the room. No matter how careful I was, I couldn't sleep. I kept tossing and turning. Near midnight, a sharp, unbearable itching beneath my skin forced me upright, gasping for breath. Panicked, I staggered to the bathroom, flipping on harsh lights, my heart racing. I stared in horror at a pale lump bulging under the skin of my neck, faintly writhing just beneath the surface. Shuddering violently, I tentatively touched the lump. Instantly, black, viscous fluid erupted, spraying into the sink, followed horrifyingly by a slippery, writhing appendage that squirmed grotesquely. I screamed, my entire body turning ice cold. Frantically, I called for an ambulance. Weakening rapidly, I stumbled back to pack my things, but paralysis crept slowly and insidiously through my limbs. Barely managing to reach the hallway, my body gave way, collapsing to the ground in painful convulsions. Blue veins began to bulge across my palms, thick and swollen, crawling outward like twisted branches beneath the surface of my skin. They pulsed in an unnatural rhythm, dark and menacing. Suddenly, my neck split open with a sharp, searing pain. A slick, slug-like creature slid out briefly, then pulled back in, leaving thick black blood trailing down my chest. Another wave of nausea hit me, and I threw up again. This time, a half-formed parasite came out, still alive, twitching weakly on the floor. Before darkness claimed me, I saw the hallway's security camera pivot, slowly toward my prone, convulsing form, watched coldly from behind a screen by the host herself. Later, waking in the sterile whiteness of a hospital room, I struggled to comprehend my circumstances. With a solemn face, the doctor explained I'd been infected by a rare parasite because of filthy bedding and poorly maintained plumbing. It was my worst nightmare coming true. Right after the doctor left, the host appeared with a smile, holding out a thick wad of cash.
The previous guest had an accident. After handing things over to the police, I still have to keep my business running to survive. I hope you understand. Please give me a 5-star review, and let's not make a big deal out of this.
I couldn't believe what I had just heard. So that was it. She was using money to cover everything up. What was I supposed to do with a woman this shameless?
Brazil was everything I dreamed it would be. Warm sun, vibrant music, and miles of golden sand stretching as far as the eye could see. Miles, my best friend and perpetual thrill seeker, had planned every detail of our trip. He swore up and down it would be life-changing. So, when he suggested we visit a unique, authentic snake massage spa, I hesitated. The very mention of snakes made my stomach churn, but Miles laughed off my concerns.
Come on, man,
he said, grinning from ear to ear.
It's all the rage. People say it's therapeutic. Plus, what's the point of a vacation if we don't try something crazy?
Against my better judgment, I agreed. The spa was tucked away in a narrow alley, its faded sign barely legible under the dim streetlights. The door creaked ominously as we entered, and the air inside was thick with the mingling scents of incense and damp earth.
Relax,
Miles said, clapping me on the shoulder.
It's supposed to feel ancient, authentic.
The receptionist, a tall woman with piercing green eyes, led us into a room that looked like a jungle terrarium. Vines hung from the ceiling, and the ground slithered. Hundreds of snakes of varying sizes and colors writhed on the floor, their scales catching the dim light like tiny shards of glass. Okay, nope, I'm out. I whispered, my voice cracking, but Miles was already stepping out of his shoes.
They're harmless, non-venomous. Just let them crawl around a bit. It's supposed to be good for circulation.
He lowered himself onto the snake-covered floor, leaning back with a satisfied sigh as the creatures began slithering over his legs.
See? Totally fine,
he said, waving me over. My body refused to move, but Miles's teasing was relentless. Eventually, I convinced myself to take a single step. The moment my bare foot touched the floor, the cold, slimy texture of a snake's scales brushed against my skin. I froze. Another snake curled around my ankle, its tiny, harmless bite sending a strange, tingling sensation up my leg. My heart raced, but as more snakes swarmed around me, I began to feel oddly numb.
Not so bad, right?
Miles grinned. I wanted to scream at him, but my throat was dry. The next phase of the treatment was supposed to be deep relaxation. We were led to 2 massage tables and instructed to lie face down. The room was dark now, lit only by flickering candles. The snakes had been cleared from the floor, but the eerie hissing sound remained, echoing faintly through the walls. As I lay there, the sensation of something smooth and heavy rolling across my back made me shudder. It's just part of the process, I whispered to myself. Breathe. It's fine. For a moment, I managed to relax. The weight moving along my spine felt oddly soothing, like a warm compress. But then I felt it slither up my shoulder. That's not a hand, I muttered, eyes snapping open. The sight that greeted me froze my blood. A massive snake was coiled around Miles, its thick body constricting him like a vice. He looked at me, gasping for air, but he was smiling.
It's fine. These snakes are trained.
His voice broke off into a choking wheeze as the snake tightened its grip. Panic surged through me. Miles! I shouted, jumping off the table. But before I could reach him, something heavy dropped onto my back. The impact knocked the air from my lungs. It was another snake. This one was even larger, its muscular body wrapping itself around my chest and shoulders. Its scales were cold and rough, scratching against my skin as it coiled tighter and tighter. I clawed at it, trying to free myself, but the more I struggled, the tighter it squeezed. My vision blurred as my chest heaved. Desperate for air, I could hear Miles screaming now, his voice a hoarse, guttural cry.
Help me!
I tried to look at him, but the snake's tail wrapped around my neck, pinning my head in place. My pulse pounded in my ears as the edges of my vision darkened. With one final burst of adrenaline, I threw myself sideways off the table. The snake's grip loosened just enough for me to suck in a ragged breath. I hit the floor hard, the impact jolting through my ribs, but I was free. For a moment I lay there, gasping and disoriented. Then I heard it, a low, guttural hiss. I turned my head just in time to see the snake lunging toward me, its massive jaws unhinged and gaping wide. I scrambled backward, but there was nowhere to go. The snake's mouth engulfed me, its sharp teeth slicing into my skin as it began to swallow me whole. I never expected to be this close to tragedy, let alone share a room with the man at the center of it all, Luigi. His name is now burned into the annals of American true crime, a villain to some, a reluctant hero to others. But to me, he was just my hospital roommate, a young man consumed by pain, both physical and emotional, and crushed under the weight of a system that had failed him. It all began in that dull, sterile hospital room. We were both recovering, me from knee surgery, Luigi from a spinal operation meant to relieve his chronic back pain. Luigi was quiet, polite, but distant, as though speaking took more effort than he could muster. I often saw him with his nose buried in a book. Industrial Society and Its Future, the infamous 1995 manifesto by Ted Kaczynski. At first, I thought his retreat into himself was because of the pain, but it was more than that. One night, I caught him staring at the window, his jaw tight, his fist clenched. I asked if he was okay. His hollow eyes turned toward me, and for a long moment, he said nothing. Over time, he opened up. Luigi told me how he had once been a promising software engineer, a Silicon Valley prodigy, but chronic back pain had derailed his life. For years, he pushed through the agony, going from doctor to doctor, enduring treatment after treatment. When surgery became his last hope, he believed relief was finally within reach. That hope shattered when his insurance claim was denied. Luigi drained his savings to pay for the operation himself, but it brought little relief. The debt mounted, the pain persisted, and his future unraveled.
This isn't living. This is existing, and they even took that from me.
I remember nodding in shared frustration. I was no stranger to the system's indifference, but with Luigi, it was different. There was a darkness in him, a simmering anger that I didn't fully grasp until it was too late. 2 weeks after Luigi was discharged, the news broke. U-Health CEO killer unmasked. I stared at the TV in disbelief. The suspect? My Luigi. The same man who had offered me half his pudding cup when I couldn't stomach the hospital food. The details were horrifying. On the morning of December 4th, Luigi waited outside the New York Middletown, where Brian was attending an annual investor meeting. He wore a mask to conceal his identity and carried a 3D printed handgun fitted with 3D printed silencer. When he saw Brian, Luigi stepped closer. Witnesses reported hearing him shout,
"Why did you deny me? Why did you deny all of us?"
Then he fired. Brian collapsed outside the hotel's glass doors and Luigi disappeared into the chaos of Midtown Manhattan. The casings left behind were engraved with the words delay, deny, and depose. The nation was stunned. Authorities revealed Luigi had been staying at an Upper West Side inn under a false name. He carried forged IDs, a handwritten manifesto railing against the US healthcare system, and a loaded passport ready to flee. His fingerprints matched those found at the scene. Politicians condemned the act, offering condolences to Brian's family while sidestepping the healthcare debate. Social media, on the other hand, erupted. Some vilified Luigi, calling him a coward and a murderer. But others, many of them young, saw him as a tragic figure, a symbol of rebellion against corporate greed. Protests erupted across the country, with signs reading "Free Luigi" and "Fix the system before it breaks more people." When Luigi's manifesto was leaked to the press, it struck a nerve. It was raw and angry, condemning the greed-driven system that exploits suffering for profit. One line read, "I wasn't working with anyone. This was my decision, driven by the pain they ignored and the hope they stole." The backlash was immediate. Security budgets for corporate executives skyrocketed. CEOs hired private protection teams, their offices fortified. The healthcare industry found itself in the spotlight, forced to reckon with questions it had long avoided. Through it all, I couldn't stop thinking about Luigi. I remembered the glimmer of hope in his eyes when he talked about his dreams of writing software that could change the world. I remembered the bitterness in his voice when he spoke of a system that robbed him of that future. Luigi wasn't a hero, but he wasn't a monster either. He was a man broken by pain, betrayed by the institutions meant to help him. His actions were indefensible, yet they forced a nation to confront uncomfortable truths. When the police finally captured him in Pennsylvania, he struggled against the officers shouting at the cameras.
That's completely out of touch, an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
And I couldn't help but wonder, if someone, anyone, had truly listened to Luigi, would this tragedy have been avoided? Or was it inevitable, the final act of a man with nothing left to lose?
I've always loved thrill rides. The rush of adrenaline, the way my stomach flips on roller coasters. It's exhilarating. My boyfriend Liam shares the same passion, which is one of the reasons we work so well together. For our second anniversary, he planned something special. He led me through the amusement park, his hands over my eyes.
No peeking,
he whispered, his breath warm against my ear. I giggled, feeling the electric excitement of the moment. Come on, at least give me a hint.
Patience,
he teased.
It'll be worth it.
After a few minutes, he stopped.
All right,
he said.
Wait here. I just need to set something up.
I laughed. Fine, but don't leave me waiting too long. Then, silence. The sounds of the amusement park buzzed around me. Distant laughter, the clanking of machinery, the occasional whoosh of a roller coaster. But as minutes passed, my excitement began to wane. He was taking too long. I shifted on my feet. Liam? Nothing. A strange silence crept in, swallowing the noise of the park. Then, a soft dragging sound, like something limping toward me. I smiled uneasily. Liam, quit messing around! The sound grew closer, slow, uneven. Then it stopped. A cold, suffocating stillness settled over me. The fine hairs on my arms rose. I wasn't alone. I hesitated before opening my eyes, expecting to see the bright lights of the amusement park. But everything was dark. The once vibrant park was now eerily abandoned. The carousel stood lifeless, its horses frozen mid-gallop. Rides that should have been full of screams and laughter were motionless. And in front of me stood a man. No, something that used to be a man. His body was thin and twisted, one leg dragging behind him as if it were broken. His head tilted at an unnatural angle, face stretched into a distorted grin. His eyes, sunken and empty, locked onto mine. My breath caught. I took a step back. He took one forward. A sickening squelch accompanied his movement, as if his bones weren't connected properly. Then, he lunged. I turned and ran. The air felt thick, suffocating. My feet pounded against the pavement as I darted past the abandoned booths and empty rides. I didn't dare look back. Then, blackness. A hand covered my eyes, yanking me to a halt. I screamed, struggling, but then...
Shh! Hey! It's okay! It's just me!
Liam! I gasped as the blindfold was gently removed. The lights of the amusement park burst into view, dazzling and vibrant. Music played, people laughed, and the air smelled of popcorn and cotton candy. I turned, seeing Liam's familiar warm smile.
You okay? I think you got a little overwhelmed. But don't worry, I have the perfect way to make it up to you.
I forced a weak laugh. Maybe I had imagined everything. Maybe it was part of some haunted attraction, and my mind had tricked me. Liam pointed at the roller coaster, our favorite ride.
Come on, just one ride.
Despite my lingering unease, I nodded. The roller coaster car locked us in. As it ascended, I started to relax. Liam squeezed my hand, and for a moment everything felt normal again. Then, as we plunged into the first drop, I saw it. Among the trees lining the tracks, a head. human, severed, was nailed to a trunk. Its eyes were wide open, staring right at me. Its mouth hung slack, lips twisted in a silent scream. My stomach turned to ice.
Liam, did you see that? The head!
What head?
He frowned, laughing.
You're seeing things again?
The ride sped up, the wind howling around us. But when we should have returned to the station, the coaster didn't slow down. It kept going, loop after loop, turn after turn. My body pressed into the seat, my skin stretching back unnaturally from the force. The wind felt sharper, harsher. Then I felt something shift. My cheek started to pull away from my skull. The wind wasn't just strong, it was peeling me apart. Liam sat beside me, completely unchanged, smiling. I tried to reach for him, to make him stop the ride, but my arms had elongated into ribbons of flesh, stretching further with every loop. The ride never stopped. I turned to Liam, eyes wide with terror.
Liam, please, make it stop!
He tilted his head slightly as if confused. Then finally he spoke.
I thought you loved thrill rides. It will stop.
The ride surged forward once more, and as the wind ripped away the last remnants of my human form, I realized I was never getting off. And my boyfriend, was he truly oblivious? Or had he planned this all along?
Stefan, I curse you! One day a blade will pierce your heart. You will lose what you cherish most and die a gruesome death.
That terrifying dream again. That dark witch may have been destroyed by my own hands, but her dreadful curse still haunts me.
Father, wake up, what's wrong?
I just feel a little tired. Happy birthday, my dear Aurora. You're 16 now. After I defeated Maleficent and took over the sacred forest, the kingdom flourished. But one by one, my loved ones left me. Now only Aurora remains. Aurora was born with a curse, that on her 16th birthday she would prick her finger on a spindle and fall into a deep sleep. But I burned every spinning wheel in the kingdom. I will prove that these curses are nothing but nonsense.
Your Majesty, the princess has collapsed in the basement. The curse has come true.
No, that's impossible. After days of trying everything to wake Aurora with no success, I had to accept the truth. The curse had really come true.
Your Majesty, all the witches in the kingdom have gathered at the palace.
But I won't give up. Aurora, sleep peacefully in your own castle. I will find a way to break this curse. The most powerful witches were summoned to the castle, yet none of them could offer anything useful. And yet, some still dare to slack off on their duties. Take the soldier on my left and execute him immediately. Trying to play tricks, are you? Eric, check on him for me.
Your Majesty, he has fallen into a deep sleep just like the princess.
My heart nearly stopped. A chill ran through my body. Could the curse still not be over? Within days, a strange sleeping plague spread across the kingdom. Anyone who closed their eyes would never open them again. I held a council that lasted for days, summoning every witch and healer in the land, but no one could find a way to stop it. Panic consumed the people. They did everything to stay awake, torturing themselves, taking stimulants, even cutting their own skin to fight off sleep. But in the end, exhaustion always won. More and more fell victim to the curse. They lay still like the dead, bodies warm, breath steady, yet completely unresponsive. Just like Aurora. No matter if this was a curse or something else, as king, I had to find a way to stop it. Beat him until he wakes up. The soldiers obeyed, landing a hard kick on the sleeping man. He woke up as a monstrous, bloodthirsty creature. Kill them all! But those bitten turned into the same horrifying beasts. Like the zombie, the two monsters were slain with ease. But the danger was far from over, in fact. It was only beginning to spread. Issue an order across the entire kingdom. No one is allowed to wake the sleeping. But all my efforts to stop it were too late. The awakened zombies went on a rampage, infecting everyone around them. The kingdom fell into unprecedented chaos. Witches and healers were summoned once again. And once again, they left empty-handed. I could only gather the survivors within the castle, raising walls of thorns to keep the zombie at bay. But it was only a temporary measure. I knew that the only way to stop this was to find the source of the plague.
Aurora must be the cause. She's been dead, but the king refused to bury her. Her body must be spreading something unclean.
You think so too? The others are already planning to burn down the Rose Castle.
How dare you touch my daughter? Guards, stop them immediately. You beasts, stay away from my daughter.
Your Majesty, let us destroy the source of the plague. It's the only way to end this.
No, my daughter is not the source. This is a curse. Maleficent's curse. Suddenly, horrifying screams filled the air. The beautiful roses twisted and turned into bloodthirsty monsters. At this moment, I had to admit it. This was Maleficent's revenge, and I had lost completely. Maleficent, I know you're still out there. I betrayed you all those years ago, but Aurora is innocent. Out of nowhere, the thorny vines slowly parted, revealing a path leading to the castle. I walked into the castle with ease, making my way to Aurora's bedside. She lay there peacefully, as if at any moment she would open her eyes, look at me with those beautiful blue irises and call out, "Father." Maleficent, Aurora has done nothing wrong. Give her back to me. I'm willing to trade my life for hers. A bone-chilling cold surged through my body. My strength drained in an instant. My skin shriveled, my limbs withered, my flesh dried up like a corpse drained of blood. Aurora opened her eyes, but she was no longer my beloved daughter.
Stefan, I never thought someone like you could truly love another.
Maleficent! Why is it you? Where is my daughter? How dare you use her body to house your filthy soul?
Father, why would you call me a filthy soul? I erased all my hatred so I could be reborn as your daughter. We've been a happy father and child for 16 years, haven't we?
No, this can't be.
Thank you, Father. Thanks to your genuine love, the sleeping curse has been broken. And now, my soul has awakened once more, along with every memory of my past life. This kingdom of lies and cruelty, these people who destroyed my sacred forest, they will all pay the price. They will all become part of the forest's fungi.